Why don't we talk about Brady's retirement?
Yeah.
You know, he came out and just said, you know, he hasn't said it yet. Even his father contacted, David, if we can close that door, even his father contacted ESPN, TMZ reported saying, look, this guy hasn't announced retirement. He contacted the Chiefs saying, listen, not the Chiefs, but
Roger Goodell, you're saying?
No, the Bucs saying,
oh, gotcha,
look, I haven't made my decision yet. Where do you stand? Do you think he is retiring, but he's upset that story leaked?
Yeah, well, how could you think he's not retiring at this point? Why would that even come into the atmosphere and people talk about it? Could you imagine if that's actually not true? And he's like, I'm actually coming back. What
Brady
a nonsensical.
Brady is so maniacal that I think Brady may have had a conversation with a few people thinking about he's retiring and that, hey, here's kind of the direction I'm going. Somebody leaked it. Brady behind closed doors is so pissed off that they leaked it because he's always wanted to control the narrative. He wants to come out and say, I'm retiring with a video or a message. You know how he typically does it with a video that comes out? And imagine if he flips and he says, you know what, the hell with you guys. You did that, I'm going to go one more year.
Well, if there's anybody that could basically flip it on us, it's someone that's basically saying, you think you're going to control the narrative about me and my life? No, I'm coming back. We're going to run it back.
Yeah, Edelman came out and he said, I'm going to miss you, babe, or something like that, you know, on Twitter.
Who said that?
Edelman.
Oh, Julian Edelman.
He said, I'm going to miss you, babe. Specifically, babe.
Well, he's a, you know, they got a little bromance going on over there, those two. But could you imagine if this is a quote unquote fake news story, James O'Keefe type vibe, where, you know, we can expose the media for getting it wrong. Yeah. And next thing you know, he's coming back. So ultimately the question is, do you think he is in fact retiring?
I have to tell you, I think the conversations took place. I think he is so pissed off right now. I think he's so furious right now that it leaked to anybody else. I don't think he's the type of guy that would want the story to leak. I think he's lost his mind with being furious. He wanted to do it his way, and it kind of changed it up. But, you know, there's some people that are upset saying, listen, there's one, because we were at the birthday party. It was the Tico's birthday party when we heard the announcement about
10 years old.
10 years old. He'll turn 10 tomorrow. And people are like, no, he didn't. He didn't retire. Yeah, he did. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. TMZ saying he didn't. So, I don't know. Do I think he's going to go? I think he can play one more year. I think he can play one more year.
Well, he led the league in yards, touchdowns,
but did you see the game?
Completions?
Did you see his last game when he lost?
He was not going out without a fight.
No, but did you see, it almost was, you know, you looked at his face at certain moments. It was kind of like, like afterwards, especially, do I really want to go through this one more time? Because think about it if you're him right now. Here's what you're thinking about. Who are you going to put around me? Okay. I need a little bit more help. I got hit a little bit too much. Okay. Maybe
the Antonio Brown nonsense. His best receiver went out for the season.
He had a couple other injuries. Like maybe he's sitting there saying, can I do this one more time? What other record is there left for him to break?
But you actually a week ago were saying there's something about the way he did the press conference. You were actually the one saying that was writing on the wall.
Yeah. No, I think I've never heard him speak that language. You'll know when somebody speaks a language. Like, for example, you're sitting with your buddies and somebody says, I'm not going to lie to you, man. You know, I'm just sick and tired of being married. This is like freaking very hard. Or I'm sick and tired of being single. You're like, this guy's never talked like this before. There's something going on there. Okay, folks, we got James back here.
O'Keefe, are you a NFL fan, Tom Brady fan? Do you want to weigh in on this? Retirement.
Well, I used to be a Bills fan when I was growing up. I loved the Buffalo Bills.
Man. A lot of L's in that Bills.
That was 8, 9 years old, and they lost their 4th straight Super Bowl. I cried. My dad had to say, it's just a game, son. 1994, they lost 4 Super Bowls.
Scott Norwood, man.
Scott Norwood. Doug Flutie. Remember Doug Flutie?
Of course.
He was my hero in high school. I loved Doug.
Boston College.
Came out of CFL, no? Didn't he start off with CFL?
I went to Giant Stadium in a Doug Flutie jersey. Jets fans, worst fans. I'm dressed as a Bills fan at Giant Stadium, and they're like throwing Flutie flakes at me. And but I loved Doug Flutie. He was my favorite growing up, and I'm sad to see Brady retired.
So when I came to the States, 1990, November 28th, the football teams you had was Cowboys. You had a few different teams. I was a diehard Bills fan. Thurman Thomas.
Really?
BB, Bryce Paup,
Wow.
Andre Reed, Bruce Smith, Thurman Thomas.
Jim
just
Kelly.
Jim
the
Kelly,
coach.
of course.
There was something unique about these
Marv
guys.
Levy.
And
Oh.
I was a Bills fan when I came to the States, and I was a Lakers fan. So for the first 6 years, I was in bad shape. As a 13-year-old kid, I had therapy sessions twice a week, going through it.
Do you remember the game in 1999 with the Music
Cowboys?
City Miracle with the Titans and the Bills?
Yeah, of
where there was
course.
the
Of
ladder?
course.
Yeah.
That crushed me.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if, and I think it crushed a lot
Kevin
of Bills
Dyson.
fans. Yes. They benched Doug Flutie.
Yeah.
And put in Rob Johnson. He lost his shoe. Remember that game? That was my moment. I used to love the Bills.
We've just
Do you
figured out
remember
his
the
problem.
Oilers game? Do you remember the Oilers game?
I was
where they made this
very young.
comeback.
I was
Warren
at
Moon.
Frank Reich or something
Oh, yeah,
like that.
that's
right?
exactly what it was.
33 to 3.
Yeah.
My dad was at the bar in
Well,
New
they
Jersey.
won that
and
game.
They came
Yeah,
back
of course
and
they
won.
did.
they won that game.
Listen, my dad was taking me up to San Francisco.
Yeah.
We're driving up there. We're listening to the radio. I'm like, I'm devastated. They're down. I'm like, turn off the radio. I don't want to listen to it. We get to San Francisco. We get to a restaurant to eat. We look at the screen. It says, the greatest comeback of all. I'm like, you're
Frank Reich.
kidding
Buffalo
me.
Bills, yeah.
It was the comeback.
1994.
yeah,
I was.
something like that.
Maybe this is the Freudian moment you want to know. This 1999, I remember this game.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with the Buffalo Bills in the 90s. After this game, it crushed me.
Done.
And I know it crushed a lot of people. They benched my hero, Doug Flutie, and they put in Rob Johnson. Ugh.
Anyway, so
Well, I think we figured out a few things here. Now
the truth has been revealed.
We've been trying to
You've
figure
elicited
out
the truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've been
Pretense.
trying
That's
to
what
make
it
out
is.
what makes O'Keefe tick.
That's what pissed him
It's
off.
the Buffalo Bills spelt Billlll.
You got a signed Flutie jersey
A lot
or
of
no?
L's.
Do you have a Flutie signed jersey or no?
I had a Flutie jersey. Yeah, I did. I used to wear it to the Jets and the Bills were in the same conference, and every once a year in New Jersey, at Meadowlands, I used to go with my dad to see him. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, the one thing about sports is it typically takes you back to a moment with your mom or your dad or your brother or your sibling.
Yeah. Do we
And
want to
that's-
tell O'Keefe the truth?
What's
Doug
that?
Flutie, come on, and we brought Doug Flutie.
If you're watching, Doug.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.